Yeah, but you gain an hour dates. That's how you got to look at it.
Councilmember Koenig.
Hey.
Hi, Steve. Councilmember Koenig.
Present.
Thank
Sorry.
Okay, item number 4, approval of the agenda, but I believe you have one item we need to add.
Yes, I'd like to add under new business, letter E item, cemetery committee meeting date.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion with that addition onto the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda with the amended.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve the agenda with the correction, with the addition of letter E under new business. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Approval of city council minutes, regular meeting held February 17th, 2015.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes of February the 17th.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve the council meeting, regular meeting held on February 17th, 2015. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Approval of accounts payable and payroll. I need a motion from either Danny or Luke.
What's that? Yeah, I'm done.
Yeah, done.
I'd like to move that we approve the accounts for March 2nd, 2015, in the amount of total approvals of $54,571.46. Luke and I both went over them and signed off on the approved checks.
I second that motion.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve payroll and payables in the amount of $54,571.46. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify.
No, we need a roll
Oh, roll call vote, I'm sorry, yes, thank you. I'll get this one these days.
Councilmember Koenig.
Yes.
Councilmember Tanner.
Yes.
Councilmember Hicks.
Yes.
Councilmember Bader.
Yes.
Councilmember Frye.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Farmer.
Yes. Under number 7, other regular business, we have no resolutions, proclamations, reports, or presentations at this time. So opportunity for public comment. Please keep your comments within 3 minutes. Derek?
One quick comment. I see everybody's got their proposed budget from the fire district. I made a mistake at the last meeting. Our joint meeting of all the boards is going to be Monday the 23rd, not
That's still at
Wednesday the
7 o'clock?
25th.
So
Yeah, 7 o'clock. Yeah, and that's in the last page in your packet there is the meeting notice. So it'll be the fourth Monday of this month. It'll be the meeting at 7 o'clock. Lasts all of about 15 minutes. So if anybody has any questions or comments, concerns on the budget, please see me beforehand. Let me know.
And we will make the big push to get all of this there.
Yeah.
Thank you. Any other public comments, Dad?
I just wondered if you'd update us on the ethics thing that's supposed to be going.
I can do that. I've emailed our city attorney twice. I emailed him once again today. I emailed him last week and said, where are we? He told me he was contacting the attorney in Lansing and that he was supposed to be hearing back. Today I was a little stronger in my language, saying, you told me that 3 weeks ago. Where are you? What are we doing? As of the end of the day, I had not heard back from him. But if I have not, tomorrow he will get another little wonderful email from me. So,
Okay.
okay, so that's where we are. So we have to wait for that attorney to, do his thing. So, but thank you, that's where we are. Okay, any other comments? If not, under unfinished business, we have the Winkle Tower lease.
Yes, I got some legal language back from the lawyer, and here's some additional too, because there have been some more questions, and he had sent some more information. We had wanted to put some language in there regarding sale of the tower, items stored in a space, an unheated space in there, and 2 spaces on the tower, and that's what he's provided us. Language is how to put that in the contract.
So are you presenting the contract for
No,
us, or you want
this
us to
is
look it
not.
over and then?
Yeah, this is just, you should read it,
Okay,
and then we'll put it in the contract and read it again,
okay.
and see what we think, and if we want more changes, we'll get in there.
I asked for a couple of these things to be added. The option to renew, first of all, the assignment of the lease, that was to protect us from, say we have the space, we do a 7-year contract with him, we put our infrastructure on the tower, then at that point, the tower that's not valuable to him because he's about to lose his last one in the near future, all of a sudden becomes an asset that he could sell, and they can come back and charge us. So if we put the assignment in there, our lease would continue, the sale would be pending the agreement to our lease, so we would be able to retain our space on the tower, or the option to renew. Let's see, the option to purchase, I asked for him to add some wording that we could look at. Basically, what I'm looking for is to make sure that if he walks away from it, the city doesn't end up paying somebody else a bunch of money to keep our equipment up there that we've already invested money in. So, and then also at the bottom, the first right of refusal was just in case he does go to sell it. That would give us the option to purchase. Who knows if it would ever come to that, but it's good to have that in there just in case. You don't know what it's going to be like 10 years from now. So
Currently,
First right of refusal.
Yeah, so if he went to sell it, we would have the option to buy it before anyone else would.
currently, we don't have anything on that tower though, of ours, do we?
Currently, we don't. Kind of setting us up for the future, I guess. And this is all negotiable, obviously. This isn't added to the contract yet, but I wanted the wording tonight so that we could talk about it, and then maybe have Regina get with Mr. Winkle and see how he feels about it and what he would like to see, and then, but we're closer.
I haven't heard back.
Yeah.
Call him, I left him a message.
And then the other thing that he mentioned is if we were to do something, the city attorney mentioned was something about consideration as far as the option to buy and stuff like that. He was going to look into that and see what would be realistic and what would be expected of us there. So, is there anything that people don't like about it?
No, I think it's good options that we need to put in there. 'Cause we need to consider, I think, all of our options, you know, in case something different were to occur. You know, this lease has obviously been going on for a long time, but things change, and obviously his situation has changed, so I think it's good for us to look at all of our options.
So this is a proposal from, here's your proposal.
This
In conjunction with what Brian sent us?
This is what I asked Brian to
Brian.
add,
Okay.
and this is how he wrote it up. I told him what I was thinking, basically. This is the way I look at it. He's basically been given that space for next to nothing. You know, it's kind of been, he helps us, we help him. Well, I want to make sure that in the future, when he's done with it,
Right.
that we could still work something out, and there's even the option there. I talked to Brian too, since he probably won't have, well, the way he talked, it didn't sound like the road commission would continue leasing space from him over that entire period. He also has his own antenna up there for, like, as a hobby, and then he has the amateur radio club tower up there. So I thought that it would be a good idea to maybe include language in here that he still gets the benefits,
Right.
you know, that he, without having to pay for it, and then we still, you know, retain that tower for our infrastructure, or we can purchase it or something. You know, I want to work out something with him where it's fair to both parties, but that we don't get gouged on the backside if we do invest money in the tower. So,
Okay, so if you'll take those and look those over, this additional sheet and the sheet then that in your packet, hopefully next time we'll be able to discuss it and hopefully vote on it and decide what we're going to do. And that will give our city manager time to talk to Mr. Winkle so that he can have a chance to look it over too. And if he wants to add or delete anything, that'll give him a chance to tell us what he wants to do. Okay, number B is auction company for the Crown Vic. I believe that we did go out to the auction company.
I am going to be meeting with Cal Yonkers next week from RepoCast. He's going to come out, take pictures of the vehicle, start it up, video it running, and he's going to take care of everything. So
Okay, so now will he give us bids on that? Is that how that will work?
he will put it online and then it will be sold. And he
Okay.
said
We're
easily.
gonna have still a minimum bid on
Well,
that?
we can do that, or we can just put it on there, but he said we should get 1,000 for it, is what he said, we should easily get 1,000. So I don't know.
well, we looked at other ones that had sold. We had looked at other ones that had sold on RepoCast recently. As a matter of fact, they have an auction every Thursday. And just this last week, there was a few year newer, a little bit better condition, but they sold for closer to 2,000 or more for the two that went on there. So it's not unrealistic to think that we would at least get our minimum bid from the auction. It does run.
What's the auction's charge to sell it?
They take their charge, I think, out of the sale price somehow, you know how that works?
Yeah, I can tell you in 2 seconds if you want to know right now.
Probably a percentage.
Yeah, it is a percentage. I think it's actually based on the sale price. It's a higher percentage at a lower price. It used to be, and then it was, if you were over 1,000, then the price went down. I can tell you in a second.
Did we have any bids out of the paper on it after we reran it?
No,
Not too much
we just
interest.
had that one low ball.
Low
That's
ball.
all we
Nobody
got.
else expressed any interest.
So he's gonna be coming down, and then that's what he does.
He's
He takes the
coming, yeah.
pictures, he
Mhm.
shows that it runs, it.
Well, where's he out of, Lansing?
It's a 616 area code. I think it's around Grand Rapids. is what-
Yeah, they're out of Byron Center, Wayland, and somewhere else. But I think they'd be auctioning that off out of the Byron Center location. Let's see. Trying to find the fee schedule here.
That vehicle still insured?
Is it?
If somebody wants to drive it?
I thought Lisa said it was not an option for us to put it into a storage.
It's not, it's
Yeah.
not, it's
Okay.
not. Under the MML policy, you
Right.
can't put them in storage, so they automatically stay on when you sell them and you tell them they're gone and then they go off. So it still should be under the MML.
Yeah, I'm not able to find it right now, but I'm thinking it's somewhere around 10%.
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised that they're coming down here to do all that because normally you have to take it to them. So, I don't know. Yeah. You didn't tell them that on the phone, right?
Told him you'd be bringing it back.
I'll drive it there.
Oh,
They'll be all right.
I'll do that.
Okay, item C, attorney pay. We, at the last meeting, asked our new city manager to get us the prior fiscal year expenditures for our attorney, Brian Notek, and she has those figures for us.
I did do a little research, and it's not really anything you can, I don't think, really compare with, because I went back to your 2012-2013 fiscal year, and you had DeStefano at the time, and you budgeted 18 grand, but you spent 20,574, and I'm thinking, was that when the DDA thing was happening?
Yep.
So that would have been the reason why that cost more. And then your 2013-2014 fiscal year, you had a mix of DeStefano and NoTech, but you budgeted $12,000 and you spent $11,247.74, so not bad. This year, you budgeted $20,000 and you spent $14,382.67, but those $1,600 a month months, you'd have spent more like $2,100 by the hours he put in, so you saved yourself $500 a month roughly by doing that.
I noticed in this month that reviewing the charges, he had down 4 hours for the meeting on January 5th, and he had 4 hours for January around the 20th or something. I don't recall him being in those meetings. He was here once all month, wasn't he? At an actual council meeting, wasn't he only here
In January,
once?
didn't we have the 2 ethics meetings?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was it.
So he would have been, he was at those
It's January
meetings.
5th, but then again, he's charging us for one towards the end of the month, and I don't recall him being here. That's 4 hours.
Was
Anyway,
it,
it came out to over $2,000 for the charges for the month.
Okay.
was that a regular meeting or was it a special meeting you were thinking that he missed?
In those bills we just signed, I looked at it.
Oh, I was just wondering because the regular meetings I record, so I go back and look and see which ones he was at.
Okay, so
I
we'll
can-
have Gina look into that and see.
Research that.
Okay, item D under unfinished business is our trash ordinance. You did receive in your packet an attorney opinion and Mr. Kemsky's correspondence back to us that under protest, he was paying us for his dumpster, for his trash bin. So you did get, like I said, something from the city attorney, again, referencing the trash ordinance. Now when this comes up for renewal, at that point, we might want to look at it, doing it differently so that if somebody were rehabbing a house and it was not occupied, they don't get charged for their trash bin. But right now, the way it's written and the way it was set up, when it was originally set up, it was set up to charge everybody in the city for their trash pickup who has a house, has an address. So when that comes due this fall, that should be something that we might want to look over and make some changes so that
Well-
if somebody's doing something like that, rehabbing or something, and nobody's there, that they don't have to be charged for their trash bin.
And in the meantime, we need to make sure that the city is consistent with charging everybody. so that there's not issues like this where they weren't getting charged for a little while, but then they started charging them. As long as it's right from the get-go, they know what they're getting into, and
Right.
we'll look at next time the ordinance comes around if we want to change it.
Okay, I do have a question, because Mr. Kemsky right now is not being charged for several of the houses that he's working on. Am I to put that trash charge on?
It should have been the whole time,
According
according to the ordinance.
According to
So.
the ordinance, it should have been all the time.
I know,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
I was told no,
Yes.
so now it's a yes.
Well, because we're following the ordinance.
He's gonna be sorry he brought
And
it
he
up.
can
Oh,
come
God.
in, he can come and request another, variance if he wants, but.
Okay.
But
Right now, we have
problems
the
like
ordinance,
this
we need to follow it.
wouldn't come up if the ordinance was followed in the first place, because they wouldn't ask the question if they weren't getting the exception, to start. So.
Okay, police department building update.
Yes, I had a certified mold remediator over, I guess it was, to take a look at the building, and he didn't see any problem at all with the mold that was there. Well, as a matter of fact, he was up in the attic and all over and could hardly find any. And he did find a little tiny bit in one spot, which he said he could HEPA vacuum off, or he said if you start covering it or tearing it out, you're going to remove it. And he didn't feel it was the least bit dangerous, but he can come back later, he said, and monitor the air quality. But that wasn't a problem at all. He said, go ahead and we could get our other trades in there. I'm in the process of scheduling an asbestos professional, and I wanted to get a hold of a heating and cooling person to assess the furnace, and I was trying to set that up for Thursday at 10 so that Elena wouldn't have to keep running back and forth to open that building up for us. Russ Puckett is going to contact us in about 10 days. He's currently out of the state. He is an electrical inspector. We had done a bid for the electrical work over there, and he said his price would stay the same as the prior bid. And he has done work in the city of South Haven. He's worked in the South Haven Courthouse, and he's done some work also for Doug Landers. So he's qualified to do that kind of work. He knows what he's doing. And that's so how far I've gotten on that one.
Okay. So we're hoping to move forward on the police department building quite quickly. If we can get these things done, if we can, start doing things, we're hoping, that by mid-April, we might be having a nice ribbon cutting so that the police department would have a new home to reside in. So we want to move these right along. Russ Puckett was the lowest bid for electrical the last time we put out specs on that building. And like Regina said, he is an electrical inspector, so he absolutely knows what he's doing. There were 2 electrical panels there, one belonging to the library, one belonging to the police station, that needed to be separated, and so all of that will have to be looked at. Okay, under new business, wages for full-time police officers. Do you want to speak to that?
I can address it, sure. I wrote up a little note for the council to kind of review, before the council meeting. Basically, as of 2/19, we have $53,821 in the salary portion. So, in doing my math, we can add up to 2 positions and still be within the budget that's there currently. I just hired one person. Actually, he started today, but I'm still waiting on his uniform. But, we're going to get the training going so that he can get on the road by himself. The sooner the better. He's brand new. He's never been a police officer anywhere. He's from the Kalamazoo area. And tomorrow I'm going to start to, kind of walk around downtown with him, introduce him to various people, just to get him kind of familiarized with the city and just the different aspects of it. But So that's where we're at. The part-timer, I estimated that cost to be about $16,000 plus, and that's just filling in the blanks of when somebody isn't here. So that way we could have a 24-hour coverage for the city at all times, which I think would be great. So that's my spiel.
Okay, I'll make a motion. I make a motion to approve 2 full-time officer positions at $15.50 per hour and realign part-time positions starting at $12.50 an hour when hired and increasing to $13 after the officer completes their field training. Also I'd like that to start the next pay period.
I'll second.
It will not be retroactive.
Right.
What is it next pay period?
We just got paid on Friday, so it'll be a week from Friday.
Okay.
Okay, any discussion? I also see that we're urged to consider a 50-cent an hour raise after the first year of service for a part-time officer.
I have a question. I don't see on here, in the police committee, we talked about a bonus after 1 year and after.
So you're still waiting.
That was,
Mr. Fry, you're right. We did talk about it, and when I was adding the numbers before I put the memo together, I think that the 2,000 would be better, when I added up all the numbers and the opt-out that they would get, they're at a good amount, I feel. So the 2,000, if we could just save that to be a cushion for, you know, any overtime, and/or if there's a way to get a supervisory person at some point, that money would go to them then. I
Like
think
a
that would be,
sergeant or something.
yeah, I think that money would be better served in that way. And if not, if we don't have anybody, you know, for a little while, then that money could be saved.
So rather than put it in there now.
Another comment I got, apparently Lynn has done her homework, and this fits in our budget.
Yeah, if you want to see, I did go through those pages and I highlighted some money in other categories in that particular department. If you want to look and see, it should fit in there very well. So you can-
We're staying under budget by
Yes.
Yeah.
still adding this?
And I appreciate the way it was presented because it gives all the information.
Right.
We know where everything's coming from, we know what we need, and it works, so.
See this.
Oh, I'm good.
And just so you know, so there's no surprises, I like to start people at part-time first, and that way it saves us the money in the beginning during their training, and then once the training is completed, then I'll move them into the full-time position so that we save, you know,
A little bit.
some money in the training, so.
So, Elena,
Yeah.
so you have two full-time officers aboard now, right?
I have only one.
Well, I mean, you.
I just hired one, part-time.
Oh, you've
Part-time.
got, okay.
I'm starting him at
But you're
part-time
gonna, he will be coming aboard full-time?
as soon as he's trained, yep.
Okay.
And so that way we save money,
Right.
you know, while the
Yeah.
training is happening.
That's all.
Okay, is there any other discussion? I have a motion and a second. I'm going to do roll call, don't worry. I know. Just saying. Okay, roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Koenig,
Yes.
Councilmember Tanner,
Yes.
Councilmember Hicks,
Yes.
Councilmember Bader,
Yes,
Councilmember Fry,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Farmer.
Yes.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Set our meeting date for the Charter Committee. Do you have a date we're looking at for
I
that?
have no idea when they even meet. When do they meet?
We
Well,
have
they've
some-
met, they've met at will, they've
Basically
only
one
met
time.
So
twice.
they say they're.
Right.
They've only met twice, and,
The 11th, we're in conflict with the police.
well, that's the cemetery, we're talking the charter.
Oh,
That's okay.
that's all right.
We got too many.
Yeah, too many committees.
So I guess the idea is to keep going.
Well, if you said you wanted to start working on the charter and the amendments
Yeah.
and the ordinances, so I mean, in order to do that, you're gonna
Okay,
wanna
so
set a
is there a
meeting
good
soon.
meeting date for you?
Next week is bad because of board of review, so
Okay. So then are we looking at the third week in March?
that should be a little better.
We want to stay away from any other meetings. Police board is the second and fourth Wednesdays? Okay, so we would stay away from that. Would the 18th work for you? It's a Wednesday.
That would be the cemetery committee's proposed one, so.
Oh, well. don't, you know.
Unless you don't want to.
No,
I mean, you could reschedule that
we
as
can
well.
do it, that's fine. Okay, the 19th?
19th should
It's
be
on Thursday.
better. Yeah,
Okay,
let's
so
do
the
that.
19th
19th.
at 7 o'clock here at City Hall?
Sissy Charlie.
Yes. Kim, will you let everybody who's on the committee know so that they know what that date is? Okay, great. Okay, Bangor Public School water bill. In your packet, you got quite a few things from Bangor Public School. Their challenging their water bill that they got. And they would like us to dismiss some of their fees. I did get an email from Nick just before I came to talk about how he felt about it. And again, we have an ordinance that we need to follow. And also, when Mike Selden was here, we did waive a water bill in the amount of $15,000 for the school at one point. So they've had a water bill in a large amount waived once before.
I just have a question, and maybe Patty can speak to it. Is there nobody working during that time that checks the school?
No, there was somebody there,
Okay.
and actually, it fell over the period beginning December 29th through December 29th through January 26th. 17 of those days, there were no students in the building, but there is someone in maintenance in the building every day. And when I calculated out the units to gallons per day, to hours, to minutes, I was told it was a leaky toilet. And when I figured it out, it's 43 gallons a minute. And that's not a leaky toilet, pumping that amount of water through there. It also happens to coincide with the date that there was the big water main break down there on the Division Street, which is right by the corner where the annex is.
Right.
And that annex is also used every day.
Okay.
So I think that one thing has something to do with the other.
So maybe that information, for one, wasn't in the packet that we received, but if
What's that? What information?
what you just said, I see the bill here in the 75,000 units, but there's nothing
That's
in
what I
here
worked
about.
on. I just went for the
Okay.
bill.
So maybe we need to look into that a little further.
Can we have PCI speak to that?
I thought they
No.
were.
Someone step up?
The main break didn't have anything, the main break didn't have anything to do with the
Well,
water
I
going into
understand the
building.
water meter only reads what comes in.
Yes.
Okay.
If it went through, it went through. It didn't have anything to do with the main break a block away.
So
I just think it's coincidental.
at this point,
There was
the
also
school has no
another
idea.
residence that had a large water bill here recently, and they had a water main break right, like, 100 yards from down the road from her. And we all know that the water meters are antiquated at best.
So the school has no idea how to use 75,000 units, though, right? You don't know where there was a leak or any sort of problem. You guys didn't find anything.
No, I
Yeah.
mean, they've been through all the buildings.
They-
There's someone in that building every day.
Have they checked from wherever the meter source is, from the hookup with the city to the buildings and everything? Has that all been checked to see if
Yes,
that?
they met with Jimmy Taylor.
So
Jimmy
this
did
is
go
the
out
building
and
over
look
here, the
This is
CC
Community
building.
Ed building, which it's that main building, and there's also the annex that you looked at one time for the police building.
Right.
So Jimmy looked at it.
Jimmy went through with Kevin, one of their maintenance men.
Right.
Yeah. They went through and Jimmy said that, Kevin had said that there were toilets running and he did use a plural. So I don't know if that's
Kevin
the
spoke
case.
out of
right?
turn.
Oh.
There was a
I-
toilet in a classroom that was leaky, and 43 gallons a minute isn't a leaky toilet. I mean, you guys own homes.
He had told Jimmy that it was running, it was continuously running. That's what
Well, let's
Kevin
pour
told
43
Jimmy.
gallons out.
A slowing valve will leak a lot more water than a regular toilet valve does.
Well, that was the only idea I had too. When I seen this, I thought there's no way that it could be a leaky toilet. The only conclusion that I could come to without knowing anything is those toilets are high pressure toilets. So if somehow the valve was stuck, it could probably shoot a lot of water out. I don't know about 43 gallons, but it could be a lot more than.
Well, the school's not contending the water usage, and we're not contending any of the fees. All we're saying is that the treatment plant is going to be processing clean water.
Well, we still pay the same amount to process it. Either way.
I think what we need to remember here too is that we do have an ordinance, and the ordinance says, that if it is, that, it needs to be charged. And like I said, the school was forgiven $15,000 at one point.
And when was that?
Water.
What was that date?
I don't have the date, I just know it was under Mike Selden that we waived $15,000 in water fees.
Well, the other problem I have is pretty much, just like anybody else in the city, if your water bill is an extra $200 or $300, you're told it's a leaky toilet or it's a leaky this, leaky that, and you still have to pay it. I don't, that's a ridiculous amount of money to me to pay for a mistake like that or whatever not being checked, but the bottom line is we would all be held to that standard pretty much, so.
Well, I guess my question is, if you've done it in the past, and you have an ordinance in place, but now you can't do it, or you waived the ordinance before to do it, but now you can't.
But we made it very clear when we did that it was on a case-by-case basis, that was not setting
Right.
any type of precedent, because the letter said we set a precedent. So we made very clear that we did not set a precedent, that these were going to each be reviewed on a case-by-case basis.
For example, something to consider would be that there's a full-time maintenance guy in the building every day that should be checking into things, and it should be noticed before 2 weeks. I don't know, there's no nice way to say this. It's a lot of money, so.
Yeah, it is. We're in a deficit budget, you're aware of that.
We are aware of that. Well, what's the pleasure of this board?
What do you guys think?
It's a difficult situation because I can see both sides of it. I mean,
Well,
yeah.
well, what is the total amount being asked, just before what are they asking us to?
$7,442.
No, they're
No, they're saying they'll pay 23.
$22,339 versus $7,400.
2,200.
2,200, not 22,000.
I was gonna say, whoa.
So it's like, wow, okay, we'll take it.
No, that's the rubber check.
But, no, I mean, this water issue, we need to get under control anyway. And we need to do something about it because it's been a big issue for quite some time now. But, you know, as a municipality, we're in the business of serving our customers and not into gouging and collecting money and trying to make money off of everybody. And that seems what we're doing with this water bill issue because it seems to come up all the time. I can appreciate what Luke's saying also. I mean, somebody should have caught that and done something over how many days? Almost a whole month. So, I mean, that's a situation. And I can appreciate
But at the same time, I personally, at my home residence, got a $3,400 water bill. Now, come on, what's going on with the water bills?
I agree with you. I think the water situation's so screwed up here, it's unreal. But as far as that goes, it was metered. I guess we just need to know what we plan to do about it, if anything.
It's a $5,000 problem right here.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money for anybody, including the school, which is our #1 employer now. Anybody got a proposal?
Well, what does that
Well,
actually
here's
boil
the
down to
thing.
costing us?
If this is cost that much for this month, or for the month that's being charged, what's it gonna be next month if that water leak is still there?
The water leak was taken care of the day we had Jimmy come.
It was, so they did, the leak was over on the
We turned the
city
valve
side.
off to the toilet. The toilet's not functioning.
And so therefore, it should be back to normal then, right, Patty?
I'm sure they checked the meter to make sure it was not spinning
Correct.
like
Yeah.
wild.
Okay.
Your normal bill here is like about $370
Yeah,
a month, I see.
almost.
Right, so we're still willing to pay 8 times more than our average bill. We're just asking for a little compromise.
Well, the way, I don't know. Well, first of all, no matter how you cut it, the water was served. So the 2239 is let's see, the 203306. I mean, we delivered the water to the facility is kind of how I look at it. As far as the rest of it, I mean, by all rights, we did treat the water, but I would be willing to maybe negotiate the sewer fee side of it, but not for the full amount. I wouldn't be given that. I don't know. It's weird because when we come into these things, just like the trash thing, you know, I'm told I have to pay for my trash, but this guy's saying, well, I fixed 6 houses and, you know, my house wasn't done, but I had to pay for my trash. So what do? You know, everyone has to go based on the same standard. Otherwise, we'll be doing this the rest of our lives. I don't know.
I just think that with the system that's in place and the history of the water bills being wide-ranging,
But we know this stemmed from a specific issue. I agree with you
I
on
don't
that.
agree with it. I don't agree that a leaky toilet leaked 43 gallons a minute.
Well, I mean, the meter shows that the water usage was, like Luke said,
The
used.
water meter showed I used $3,000 worth of water at my home.
Well, actually, no, that was a mistake that was made by people who were inputting the reads. We were just learning the system when
So
yours
this was not a
done.
mistake, though. You can guarantee me
This
this
was,
is not a mistake.
it was not, because I sent Jimmy out to read it when I saw how high it was.
Okay, but I feel secure knowing that knowledge, that mistakes are made too.
Yeah, it was by the
Once
people
again, the
inputting the
school's
reads.
just asking for a compromise, if you'd be willing to meet us in the middle.
So what do you guys think?
I mean, I could be willing to forgive the sewer, but and then we can just keep the, what do you call it, the SD, what is that, the
Sewer debt retirement.
Debt retirement fund, yeah. And the water.
Every time.
And that splits the difference.
The sewer cost is the largest of the costs.
Right.
And what
So
we're
we're definitely
requesting is a
good.
3-month average of what our sewer cost normally is for that building, which is $133. And the school's willing to pay $2,033 for the sewer usage for that month.
That would be the water.
That would be just for the sewer. We're paying full price on the water.
Right.
What we did was we averaged their usual usage over the last 3 actual reads
For the sewer.
for the sewer.
Sewer.
And we went off of that, and that's what we're charging them for the sewer. The rest would have to be forgiven, so.
For ready-to-serve water, we're paying the full fee, and for the water usage, we pay the full fee.
Right.
It's just the sewer we're asking
That you're asking
for an average.
rebate.
So the flip side of all the stuff with the ordinances, you still have to take care of the people that live here. So, you know, that's why, but it is a case-by-case basis, whatever we do. There's not a precedent set. We have to look at the circumstances surrounding it because the ordinance says differently. So the city attorney already said that. I did not like the wording in the letter that said a precedent has been set. Because
Is that not true?
I
It's
don't
not
believe
true.
so, but
You just said you did it 15,000 and you did it for a private residence.
But the attorney said that any changes we make are not setting a precedent, it's just on a case-by-case basis.
He's an attorney.
And none of us were on the council when this 15,000 was waived.
So what do you guys think? Just do the 2033 or what? Or,
Well, we-
I haven't heard anything else suggested.
Well,
Like I said, I'm willing to split the difference.
What I heard is that the water, there's no question that the water was used.
Right.
So we need to do that. The question then comes in the sewer amount. Is that what I'm hearing? And what I'm hearing you say is that you took their sewer amount, divided by 3
Over the 3 months.
over the 3 months.
I gave them an average,
Okay.
and that's what we're charging them for, is that sewer usage. The rest would have to be forgiven, if
Okay.
you agree to that.
The average is 133, but they're paying 3 times or 10 times that amount.
So when you're saying you're forgiving the sewer, this is where I'm getting confused at. Are we saying we're forgiving
We're not
debt
forgiving the
retirement?
entire sewer?
No, no, no.
We'd be charging them based on their usual, their average of the last 3
Average
months.
rate
Okay.
Of 133.27
Okay,
a
I
month.
understand what you're saying.
So we would be asking for their regular amount, and then plus the water usage.
And all the water usage. So they'd have to pay the entire water usage.
Which comes out to $22.39.
Well, which comes out to $2,033.06 for the water usage. And then we're asking them to pay the $133.27 for the sewer.
And their meter charge.
It was $73 for the ready to serve.
Yes, that's the meter charge.
Okay, so what's the pleasure of the council?
I make a motion that we waive all the sewer fee except for $133.27 or 27 cents and
$73 fee?
we wouldn't be waiving the $73 fee. So that'd be it. What's the total? If someone wants to give me a total, I can amend that.
22.39.
No, the total that we'd be waiving.
Oh,
Let's see, it's 86, 3, 18, looks like 53, 36, that $5,336.80 it looks like. Double check that.
Plus, I I punched the wrong button. I've got $5,203.06.
What was it, Mike?
$5,203.06.
Because the amount of the charge, if I
Okay,
can do my.
did I
math-
have a second? Sorry,
That's
before you
fine.
discuss.
Oh.
I was figuring the total charge that we're charging them is $2,139.33. Is that correct?
No, it's
She,
2,200.
she needs a second.
I need
I'll
a second before
I'll
you
second.
discuss.
All right. So,
I got $2,239.33 for what we're asking, what they're asking for us to charge. And for the amount forgiven, I'm with the debt retirement and the sewer charge, 53.36 and 80 cents.
I came up with $5,032.73, but I used my calculator.
Adding those two together,
That was taking the $1,442.06, taking the $133.27 that they are going to pay out of that because that's not being waived, taking away the $2,033.06 away because they are paying the water usage, taking the $73 away because they are paying the ready to serve.
That comes to 2239.
So I came up with $5,032.73. Is anyone else on that number?
you might be right, I didn't take that 133 out, so you're probably right.
Do you know the number?
I know what we're paying.
Okay. Hold on just a
I've
second.
got the list in my office. Do you want me to get it?
I don't have a
No, I
calculator.
think we can do the calculator.
No,
Somebody has
I'm
a
just-
calculator, I just don't have a calculator.
Luke's got one, so.
I'm gonna double check it. Hold
It's
on.
been in the sun too long.
Yeah.
7442.86.
Because if you take
Minus
7,486 and minus
Actually,
239.33.
I double checked it and I came up with closer to Regina's number, the 5.2. So I'm gonna do it one more time until I get the same number.
$5,203.
That's 6 cents.
53 cents. That's right.
53 cents.
Right. That's right.
5203.
So $204 was.
No, $5,203.53.
All right.
Okay, it should be $5,203.53.
That's what I'm
Okay.
talking about.
So I amend my motion to waive the total amount of $5,203.53 from the Bangor Public Schools water bill.
And I'll second. I'll amend my second.
Okay, it's been motioned and seconded that out of the total water bill, the total bill of $7,442.86, we will forgive the school $5,203.53, and they owe us a balance of $2,239.33. I would like to see some kind of statement made that we are not setting a precedent. I want this very clear, that we are, yeah, I agree. If I were negotiating, that's what I'd be saying.
Well, the bottom line is it's a case-by-case basis, so.
Okay, okay, so there's a motion and a second on the floor. Can I have a roll call on this, please?
Have to be a, yeah.
Okay. Councilmember Koenig?
Yes.
Councilmember Tanner?
Yes.
Councilmember Hicks?
Yes.
Councilmember Bader?
Yes,
Councilmember Frye?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Farmer?
Yes. Okay, motion carried.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Item D, Wellhead Protection Program Grant Contract.
Yes, what this is a grant that the council worked on last fall, and they sent the application in, but then when it got down to just signing the contract, which should have happened in January, it didn't. So everything's done, it just needs a signature, so I would like the council to just give me the authorization to go ahead and sign the grant contract, so
It can be done.
it'll be done.
I'll make a motion that we give Regina the authority to sign in place of the previous name on there and get this thing rolling, because it's been waiting way too long.
I'll second.
Okay, is there any discussion? Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we give our city manager permission to sign the DEQ Wellhead Protection Project application and submit it, so we can get it going. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Item E, under new business, is cemetery meeting date. I can guarantee you we will not be going out to the cemetery.
I gotta skip that.
Okay, and I believe that March the 18th was proposed, which is a Wednesday, and that stays away from everybody else's meetings.
I thought it was the 19th. Oh,
The 19th
No,
is
that's
the
the
charter
chart
committee.
meeting.
Charter.
Oh, the charter,
Yeah.
that's right, that's right.
Okay,
Okay.
so,
Why don't we try, I was gonna say the 25th, but that's our,
That's
Yes, Police Advisory.
that's the police
right,
advisory
11th and
committee.
the 25th is that,
Right.
so.
And it won't be a long meeting, we just have a few things to
Right,
discuss, so
Right, you want,
on the 18th at 7 o'clock in City Hall?
what else do we have that night? Nothing.
Nothing.
That's it.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's 18. So it looks like I'm booked up all week.
You are. You don't get to
Great.
go home.
Yeah.
Okay, so the cemetery board will meet on March 18th here at the city council meeting at 7 o'clock p.m. Opportunity for public comment. Yeah.
I think what you did just a few minutes ago was a really bad idea. I don't know how you're going, I don't know how you're going to separate each case by case when somebody comes in and says, gee, I was gone and my toilet ran, and I've got $2,000, and boy, you just opened up a big can of worms, and that's all I got to say.
Thank you. Any other public comments?
Yeah, Jennifer Carpio-Zeller. I was just going through my old minutes, or notes that I take during you guys' minutes. And I was looking at January 5, which was 2 months ago. And I actually wrote out my comments, which I don't usually do, but I did them. And I just noticed that everything on here is something I want to bring up again. So, again, concerned that there's no discussion or urgency regarding the PCI contract. We're still working without a contract, I'm assuming, because nobody's talking about it. But my biggest concern is really the urgency about your budget. And I know that both Harold and Fred have talked a little bit about we need to look at this. But you guys have just started your last month of your third quarter, and you haven't done your second quarter amendments. And starting next month, you should have been starting your budget hearings for next year. And so again, I really hope to hear, at least in your comments, that you guys have a plan. You're gonna start setting some dates, because I can see your calendars pretty darn full. Thank you for the update on the ethics violations. That's definitely something I brought up 2 months ago. I haven't heard. And also, I had on here, I'm still waiting on a final comment, statement, opinion on what happened with this demo of the supposed DDA building that wasn't a DDA building, that was done incorrectly, supposedly. So rather than let the rumors swirl, let's just find out what happened, make a statement. And like Lucas said last time, if it was done incorrectly, if there's a problem, and there wasn't, something
I
followed.
will comment on that in my council comments.
Okay, I appreciate that. All right, that's all I have.
Sylvia,
I
welcome.
just would like to talk about the public transit. The millage will be on the NAFIP bill election. We're going to have transit millage on there, and it is a renewal. The original was .25, and we're asking for a renewal .248, which is the Headley rollback in there. And it's really important that the millage pass. We had over 100,000 people use the ridership last year, and that is from October 1st to September 30th. 52% of the money that comes into transit is federal and state money, and if we didn't have the millage, we would lose all that in this area for our county. And you can see the red is what the millage is, and this blue is all state and federal money, and we would lose all that is spent here locally. So
What's the percent of the ridership? That looks like that's a little high.
that's 1%.
1%?
No. That's just other monies that come in. This wasn't ridership. No, the ridership is January and February of this year is down at 7,000 a month because the weather's been so bad and we were closed a couple of days. But last year we had 100,000. I've been on that board for 8 years, and when I got on, the first thing when I was elected that I did was we hired Tony DeCola, and he is just a great guy and has done a really good job with public transit. He's is great, and I think it's really doing good for people.
There was a
in the
nice
county.
plug for public transit. I don't know if anybody saw it on the Sunday paper for the lady that's turning 100. She put a very nice statement in there about how much she appreciates the public transit. So there was a very nice statement in paper.
Well, I hope everybody supports it, Nathan. Thank you.
Thanks, Sue.
Thanks, Sue.
Okay, any other public comments? If not, let's do council member comments. Luke? We do not have any.
Well, I'm not happy that we even have to deal with any water issues. I think that since I've been coming to these meetings, it's been too long now, but it's been at least a couple years. This is a recurring thing. Every time, you know, it seems like every couple months somebody else is coming in here having a problem, and that's coming to these meetings, not how many people walk through the doors to the city hall and complain to them and yell at them and tell them, you know, why aren't you fixing this or doing something for me? Well, there's nothing that they can really do for them. So we need to look at the fee schedule. You know, I want to be on the agenda for the next meeting, preferably to start the discussion at least on how we can fix the water bill situation. It's been a long time coming. I'm tired of it. I want it fixed. I think that's it. That's the only thing I have for tonight.
Thank you, Jim.
I think that I support Luke on that because, you know, we do give bricks, you know, to some people, and there's a lot of people out there that's got the same problems. I had a problem 3 years ago. My water bill went sky high, and I found out the leak was on my side, and I had to repair it and everything. But I truly believe that if people pay more attention to that and everything, that a lot of that be prevented. But there again, it's quite obvious they don't really pay that attention. And as far as the school is concerned, I think there again, Luke brought it up, the maintenance there, the people that's maintenance, they should have, especially seeing this, they should be paying more attention to things like this and checking on things like this, because we, you know, it's not fair to give some breaks, even though we say we're not setting a precedent to other people. It looks like we are, and so we're going to have to really do something about the water and come to some conclusion. That's all I got to say.
Thank you. Danny?
In regards to the water, I have a company out of Detroit. It's called Serval, and it's available to anybody in the city. You can get it for your sewer from the house to the city sewer that runs behind my property, or you can get it for the water, which runs from my water meters out between the city sidewalk and the street. So it's under snow right now. But if that should bust, as my neighbors has done in the last 12 years that I've lived here, pardon? Oh. I pay $4.95 a month for the service. They will pay up to $6,000 a year for this insurance, and they send out the contractor. They'll do it twice a year. If it breaks, which is our responsibility, from the meter back to the house. So there's really no reason that anybody in this city doesn't have an insurance policy that will protect them. Now, if it's leaking inside, I have leaky toilets that I fixed this winter, and I have sinks that I fixed. Mr. Kempsky, I just spent a lot of money having him fix 2 or 3 leaks at my house. So yes, it does happen. And as long as you're going to be on this council, you're going to run into people that have problems, either with water, with trash, whatever. That's our job. I guess we try to be as finesseful as we can about it. The attorney tends to always say, well, it's on its own basis. I tend to agree that if somebody else seen it done, it's a precedent. You know, it makes an attorney a lot of money by saying, well, it's a case by case, but no, it ain't. It's a precedent. So we have to be very careful who we say yes to and who we say no to. I think the school being one of our biggest customers, I don't feel bad that we helped them. No matter what happened in a previous administration or a previous city manager, I don't care. I think we need to treat it as we did tonight. I agree. I think we need to really start looking at our budget really close, because I have a feeling we're upside down, kids, and I'm afraid we are. That's all I'm gonna say. We're spending a lot of money crazy.
Okay, Fred?
I also want to address the water issue. I can appreciate what Dan's saying as far as setting the precedents and all, and it does in some appearance as though we are setting a precedent. But as a municipality here, our job is to serve the people, not to make money off of them, and that's what it seems to be that we're doing with this water issue. Because as I've said years ago, this water bill issue is a big problem. This fee schedule is way too high. It's impossible for anybody to catch up once you get behind. And until we do that, we're going to continue to run into these issues. Now, as far as the school goes with their maintenance, yes, that should have been caught. I mean, I don't know why it wasn't caught after almost 30 days, and if it was a leaky toilet, our DPW tells us that that's possible for it to be 43 gallons a minute. They're the professionals, so I take their word for it. But the bottom line is the school they take care of our kids. They're a big employer in our city, so we need to take care of our school. We can't just, start gouging because, these bills are expensive. Everybody's in a hard time right now. And it's tough to come up with this kind of money sometimes. So, yeah, we do have to look at these situations on a case-by-case basis. Even though it doesn't appear that we're setting a precedent, we still have to take care of our customers, which is the whole community as a whole. If we start charging everybody this and we start losing, citizens, then where are we at? We're not going to be any further in any better situation. So, I mean, we have to look at this from a common sense point of view and just say, hey, sometimes we have to do what it is we don't want to do, but we have to do it. And as a municipality, like I said, our job is to serve people, not to make money off of them, and that's what it seems to be happening with these water bills. So, with that being said, I'm happy that we helped the school. I'd like to get this situation, as Luke said, this fee schedule on the next agenda, and we really need to look at how we, punish people basically for late water bills or inability to pay their water bills, because comparatively we're high against anybody, statewide, nationwide. So we do need to fix that. And also, I just want to thank everybody for coming, and I do agree we need to get our budget under control. I think the problem here is that the council is being looked at. I mean, we're doing all the work, not all of it, but we're doing a lot of the work as far as budgeting and all the day-to-day operations, and that is not our job. Our job is to set policy and make decisions, but not to be running the city on a day-to-day basis. I appreciate what Regina's doing, coming in and taking it by the horns, but this needs to get off the council's plate, some of this. And I think once we do that, we can start moving forward and making decisions and making headway in what we need to be taken care of. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay, thank you, Carol.
Tonight, I'm hoping that the school serves the community, we serve the community. We need to be working together instead of fighting each other. And I'm hoping that this is the first step toward the school and the city working together closer, trying to help each other with their problems. We have problems, they got problems. Maybe we can help each other more than we have been. That's all I have to say.
I'm commented out. I'm commented for the whole meeting. I'm just happy to be here. And we are going to address the budget.
Okay, I will answer those questions as I promised. We are addressing the budget. It would have been unfruitful, I guess is a good word to use, for the council to have had the first quarter budget hearing before we did, because the figures were...
So screwed up.
I'm trying to say this politely.
No,
yes.
there's no nice way to say it.
The figures were not accurate. And so had we had our first quarter budget meeting when we should have had it, we would have voted on something that was incorrect. The first quarter budget was corrected. We have done that. We are now working on the second quarter. Regina went down to our accountants this past week. We are hiring a firm to come in. We have also done that in the past. Before we hired Gerbil, we spent about $9,000 having Siegfried Crandall come in and balance our books for us, so that they would be all in order, so that when our new auditing firm came in, they would be where they need to be. Okay? So we are working forward. We're working very, very diligently. There are a lot of people who are working very, very hard. Regina has worked weekends on end to try to figure out where we are in second quarter. We're hoping to have a meeting by next week, so we will have the second quarter adopted, and we'll be on to the third quarter. But there is a lot of work that needs to be done because the numbers are so inadequate. We have been also working with PCI very closely. Regina's been working with them, meeting with them weekly, talking about what we expect. She did send out something to all the council members asking for our input so that we could tell her what we thought were the jobs of DPW departments. And numerous ones of us did send those in so that they have an idea what we're looking for and we have an idea what they're looking for. To address the DDA building, that building was never owned by the DDA. It was always owned by the city. The check was never written by the DDA for that building that was demolished. The person who was doing the demolition came into City Hall, asked numerous times, do I need something? Was told, no, I'll take care of it, I'll take care of it, I'll take care of it. It finally was taken care of. He finally came after about the 5th time, and it was taken care of by our code enforcer. So I want to make it very clear that that property was never owned by the DDA. It was always owned by the city, and the permit was asked for, and the permit was given. I also wrote down my council comments because if I don't say them in succinct ways. So what I'd like to say is someone on their Facebook page once said that we should rename the city of Bangor. I could not agree more. After what I've heard this past week, I believe that we should name it Rumor Mill. I believe that we have a job to do and to move the city in a positive direction. I believe that the rumors and the repeating of the rumors have no place in that process. If you want to be part of the solution and not part of the problem, then I'm asking, please don't repeat or spread these rumors. We have enough real challenges, as we've seen tonight, to face without making up rumors to spread around the city like a cancer. Let's move our city in a positive direction so we don't have to be named Rumor Mill. And that's all I have to say. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second? Okay. Then moved and seconded that we adjourn. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed the same? Okay, thank you.